Hi, my name is Jack Hacker, and I'm going to be walking us through a mini TED Talk that I've prepared today. So, my TED Talk is based off of an article written by BJ Tepper, and the article is abusive supervision and subordinate outcomes that can take place. So, starting off, this entire thing is written by BJ Tepper, as I said, and pretty much what it is it covers how abusive leadership styles, supervisors, managers, or even other employees that you work alongside with can create hostile work environments for anybody that they come in contact with in the workplace. There are many features that would allow a subordinate to identify an abusive supervisor or manager or other employee, like I've said. My favorite quote that I found in here actually says, "Abusive supervision is a subjective assessment subordinates make on the basis of their observations of supervisors' behaviors." So this is all subjective, like this quote suggests. And so the manager might think that they might not be doing anything wrong, but there needs to be proper training going through the onboarding process so managers can identify easily what is and what isn't a abusive leadership or supervisor style. So a quick little story time for me. I would say about a year ago, I was in a part-time job at a retail clothing store. I had an assistant manager, and the assistant manager made countless sexually charged remarks towards myself, other people, as well as myself in groups with other people. And it ultimately led to me having to have a very hard conversation as a 20-year-old at the time, and this guy being 40-something, having to explain to him what he's saying is wrong, what he's saying hurts people's feelings, and does not belong in the workplace. And so we then went into a kind of like a chat box with upper management and explained to them things that were going on, as well as our immediate supervisor above said assistant manager at the time. And we got corrective actions taken, and it was an interesting time, to say the least. So some of the story outcomes out of this. Why does this matter? So having a supervisor that's immature or abusive creates this environment in work that nobody wants to be a part of. Nobody looks forward to going into work. And when you don't look forward to going into work, then the worst of all things happen. You're not productive. And nobody wants to go to work and not be productive, especially your managers or your bosses or anything like that. And reporting this information to higher command helps protect the people that are involved with said assistant manager at the time for me, or just for anybody else that, for the future that could be involved with this guy. So what is the benefits? Or who benefits from this? Apologies. So you, the audience, benefit from this, obviously, because you now know, and I'm sure you probably did before, that these kind of people exist in the workplace and make it completely toxic. And like I mentioned in the previous, why does it matter? Nobody wants to be a part of that. And so we benefit, managers benefit, because they then learn, hey, we have this guy that's with us. We don't need him anymore. He's creating terrible environments for our workers, and nobody's looking forward to being there. It's just all around not a good experience for anybody involved, including the one that's doing all the abusive remarks or immature things on the job site as well. Last one that I have is the employees. The employees benefit from this because now they've learned, hey, this is not right. Let me go explain this, and they don't have to endure this supervisor that's making all these remarks and all that. So really, everybody kind of benefits from this. Then we have how can this information help managers improve the workplace? So it allows the managers to know what happened, how it happened, and how to prevent this in the future. It's very important, and it's inevitable in any job that you go to that you're going to have the slackers or the not great workers, but being able to have this information and move forward from this and then implement things into the onboarding process in the future allows these managers to effectively make the workplace better one step at a time. And it is unfortunately something that I'd say 99% of jobs have to go through, especially in the starting phases. So just something to keep in mind, as well as removing this worker ahead of time preserves the workplace and increases the retention of current employees. Having somebody that's a very big figure in the company take charge and show that they have a little bit under their belt to show that, hey, we don't accept this here, really boosts the morale of all the other people that are involved as well. And so, what are some steps of actions that can be taken? So, managers should notice this behavior and move quickly and swiftly on this to, have a conversation with said employee or supervisor or manager. And me personally, I'm a very firm believer that everybody deserves a second chance. And so, what they can do with this information and moving towards steps of action is there's two things. They could have a sit-down conversation, explain the behavior, and see if they can correct this behavior over a week, a month, 2 months, whatever it might be. And unfortunately, if that doesn't work, then my last point here is if they reoccur, that they need to seek disciplinary actions or immediate termination. Pretty much the whole entire time I've gone through this, as you can see, is if this isn't working out and they continue this, they don't need to be a part of this anymore. So here's my resource that I used right here by BJ Tepper. It's a great article. I highly suggest you give it a read, especially if you are going to the corporate world, just to kind of have a little notice of what might come. Hopefully it doesn't, but it was a very nice article to read, and I related a lot to it. Thank you. I'm Jack. Have a good one.